after the shocking state of the nation has once again been laid bare after the arrest of yet another ordinary English mother, only guilty in the eyes of the nation of caring for the safety of all of our children. Yet to call this individual ordinary would be wrong. After all, Sarah White is no ordinary woman. She's brave, determined, fiercely British, and she is Keir Starmer's worst nightmare, the woman who refuses to be silenced, the voice that will not go away, and her army of followers and supporters is rightfully growing by the day. This evening, we welcome this remarkable woman to the show. Sarah, good evening.
Evening, Paul. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. More importantly, how are you? I mean, it's been a topsy-turvy last couple of weeks, to say the least. My first question has got to be, how are you and your family and your kids? How's everyone coping?
Well, I'm coping really well. I'm a pretty strong little cookie, and
I've never guessed.
No, not at all. But you know, for my mum was worried out of her mind when I got arrested, because she didn't know I'd been arrested. She got somebody call her and say, you better find out. I think Sarah's just been arrested. We've seen a live feed. And then it transpired from there that obviously I had been arrested. And then knock on for that, I've got 3 children, as everybody knows now. And my daughter, she was really upset, and it's worried her deeply, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
My boys, on the other hand, aren't as worried.
Are they enjoying the new street cred, are they?
Maybe, yeah. Your mum's cool. She's a baddie, you know. That's what
so,
getting.
Sarah, take us back. I mean, you've been on a lot of, a lot of podcasts. I've seen you on 1 or 2, but take us back to the start. Where did all this start for you down there in Epping? What made you decide to get involved?
Just basic instincts as a mother. And I you know what, even if I wasn't a mother, I'd still be there week in, week out, doing my bit, because I've got this deep sense of drive and passion to protect people, and that fuels me. But being a mum as well, I think that just pushes that motive even more. And when I heard about what had happened and that there were protests, I couldn't think of anything else other than being there. And I've been there pretty much for every protest, I think, barring 2. And just the sense of the community all coming together is just so it's just so amazing to see everybody in the community come together for a situation like this. And it really does show that there is still that community spirit. Yeah.
It's something that you've either got or you haven't got. And there seems to be 2 different types of people in the UK now. There's like the old school types that maybe it's a family thing. I don't know what your parents are like or your grandparents, but you know, there's that affinity with our history, our past, and our future, and that bonds us together, doesn't it? Something that you said a minute ago, which resonates with me greatly, because do you know what, Sarah? All the people in this movement that I've met, from Tommy right across the board, they all have one thing in common: they care about other people.
Yeah. And
that's a rare commodity, I think, these days. We all have a passion for the safety of others.
Yeah.
And I think that's just wonderful. Like you say, the community spirit that I'm seeing is almost wartime like in many respects. I don't know if you'd agree with that, but what I've been witnessing down there in Epping, obviously from afar, has been really heartwarming, and I think it makes people immensely proud. So you've got involved with this down there. Was you involved with the movement before this started?
No. I mean, as a lot of people are aware, I'm a Reform candidate, but that has no impact on why I'm there. This is nothing to do with politics. There are people there from every walk of life and every background and every political view possible at these protests. We are there standing shoulder to shoulder, side by side, because we all care about what happened. And that is it. That is why I'm there. I had been on protests in the past, you know, starting back from COVID. That's when I started going on protests. But this in particular was basically from the moment I found out about what had happened to that poor young girl, that's when I got involved. And that is the strength of it, basically.
For anyone that hasn't been on the ground down there, by the way, Richie Blackmore says, God bless our patriotic sister Sarah. Lots of love to you. Thank you, Richie. Really appreciate that. Andy the Gabby Cabby is in the chat there. Good evening, Andy.
Hi, Andy.
Thank you very much. So from being on the ground down there, what's the feeling like amongst the locals? I mean, obviously they're angry, they're frustrated, they're upset. We had the ruling that was then overturned. What's the general feeling down there now? Because to be honest with you, Sarah, from where I'm seeing, the mood across the nation appears to be at boiling point.
It's massively at boiling point. And, you know, I think when they arrested me, I think that fueled anger in a lot of people even more, because a guy even said to me last night, he said, you're running along the edge of our protest, saying to us all, calm down, don't get arrested. He went, and then they arrest you. He went, and you're the one who always is massively trying to keep the peace. He said, that was just outrageous. And that fueled and sparked everyone to, I think, go, hold on a minute, if they're arresting her, what are they going to do to the rest of us? But what's going on in Epping now is there's a mix of emotions. Yes, we're pleased that guy got found guilty, but then it's like, well, hold on a minute, why was he even allowed to commit this crime in the first place? So yeah, everyone's happy that he's got found guilty, but well, hold on a minute, if he weren't allowed to be in this hotel, if this hotel wasn't used to house illegal migrants, we wouldn't be in this position. That young girl wouldn't have been sexually assaulted. And so there's people are furious because just the other night, I don't know if you've seen some of the videos, but one of the migrants in this hotel pushed one of the young boys at the protest and then kicked out at another person. You know, they're not going away. And our worry is in Epping, because Epping Council have given the green light for these people to be housed in HMOs, like social housing, Airbnbs. What happens if that hotel gets closed? They then get dispersed within the community, and we then don't know where they are, and that is a real concern.
Well, that's the conundrum, isn't it, really, Sarah? I mean, there's an argument for saying that maybe they're better off in the hotel so that we know where the buggers are, at least. What's your feeling on that? Would you prefer them to be in that hotel so that we know where they are, or would you? I suppose you just want them out, really, altogether.
To be honest with you, that's a real tough one, because at the end of the day, as much as at the moment it's Epping's problem, we don't want them passed on to any other borough, because it's just because it's our problem, it doesn't mean it then should become someone else's and woohoo, Epping have won, because that's not right. I want these stopped all up and down the country. I have said previously, why are places like the Nightingale Clinic not built? Because they built them rapidly during COVID. Why aren't detention centres built? And you know what? If they really are worried about where they're going to be housed, then why not keep them in these hotels, but not allow them to mix within the community? Have police waiting at their doors. They've got enough space in these hotels. They've got enough amenities. And at the end of the day, they're illegal migrants. They've broken into our country, so they've committed a crime. Why are they not being detained? Why are they allowed to roam freely on our streets? And I just think that's our worry. These are illegals. They have committed a crime. I'm not allowed to commit a crime and walk around freely. I've had bail conditions set on me, quite strict ones. Now, what's happening to these guys? And that's the concern. The government could stop this overnight, and they could stop the protests overnight. If they really don't want people out protesting on our streets, why aren't the government doing something to stop it?
Yeah. Agree entirely. I mean, look, we're kind of limited as to what I think it's advisable that you do and don't say about your case that is ongoing, because you have been charged, you are due to appear in court. But we've watched that video, Sarah, and I've got to tell you, from a man's viewpoint, whether you've done right or wrong, whatever, I don't really, that's not on my mind. I don't see that you've done anything wrong whatsoever. But the big problem for me is the way that you are handled. You're a woman. You don't look like a particularly big woman to me. You look like a fairly petite individual. I never enjoy seeing a man put his hands on a woman.
No.
And I don't know how many officers were there. Can you recall how many actually dealt with you at that moment?
There was 3 restraining me, and there were a couple others at the top of the stairs. But 3 of them were pretty forceful towards me.
Was you resisting at all? I mean, I know their favourite saying is stop resisting, but was you showing any resistance?
So what I was resisting is I've done restraint training plenty of times in my past, and I know how it goes. I know what to do, and I know what not to do, and I know how easily it is to break someone's arm. What I was trying to prevent was my arm from being broken, and I said to the guy at the time, release my arm because it's 1 click away from being broke. Like, the force that was being put onto my shoulder and my arm up my back was unbearable. They tried to initially push me down. I knew what position they were trying to get me into, where basically you're buckled over your own legs and your face ends up flat on the floor.
Yeah.
I was forcing myself to stand up because I did not want to be in that position. You don't know what can happen to you at that point. They're obviously incapable of doing their job. They obviously don't know how to restrain people properly. And what I was concerned for, if I got onto that floor, what was going to happen? The guy did eventually take pressure off of my arm. And that's when I said, right, now I will walk peacefully. And like you say, whether I did or whether I didn't commit a crime, if my crime was merely for holding that flag, did it deserve the brutality that I received? And no, it didn't. When you look at when that guy was arrested for allegedly sexually assaulting that young girl, which has now been found guilty, when you see the video of the police officer saying to him, come on, please don't cry, everything will be okay.
Yeah.
Where's the brutality towards him when all I done was hang a flag? And what I find alarming is people are saying, well, she broke the law. Hold on a minute. No, I didn't break the law. I did hold a flag over the Civic Centre. The Civic Centre is also known as the council offices. And the procession was to the Civic Centre. I was on the stairs of the Civic Centre, otherwise known as the council offices. They said I deferred from the route. That was the route. So I didn't break any law. And then I received that brutality from the police, covered in bruises. I had swelling and bruising on my jaw, bruising all down my right arm and right leg, and bruising on my back. Now, did I deserve that? No, I didn't. No matter what I done, and it is complete 2-tier policing, and this has got to stop, and they need to be called out on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Sarah, there are murderers that have been restrained more peacefully, in my opinion, from what I've seen, and as I said, look, if we put the rights and wrongs to one side for a minute, although I will reiterate, I don't think that you did anything wrong whatsoever. But then again, I'm not a copper or a lawyer, but I just can't go along with seeing 3 grown men manhandle a woman in that way. Frankly, I mean, the optics are absolutely disgraceful. I mean, the police's reputation, in my opinion, is on the floor right across the nation anyway. I mean, they'd have to go out chicken molesting to be any worse at the moment, So what do they think they're gaining from those sort of optics? Surely a kind word, a firm word, if you needed one, would have been sufficient on that occasion. But look, it will all pan out. I saw the bruises on your arm on Dan Wharton's. I think it was on Dan Wharton's show.
Yeah.
That takes some force. To bruise someone like that takes some force, and I think it's absolutely outrageous. The next question is, and this is a tough one, I don't want to frighten you, but do you fear becoming the next Lucy Connolly?
You know what? It did cross my mind that, because even though you think, well, hold on, you ain't really done anything, but someone did put up the other day that what is the punishment for what I'm being charged for, you know, and it is imprisonment. And then you go, hold on a minute, Lucy Connolly went away for a long time and that was unjust. How about if that happens to me? We're living in a clown show right now. So, yes, it has crossed my mind. I'm hoping that common sense kicks in. But I said this in the police station. When I told them what the route was, because I know the route, and they went back to your cell, I said, I presume you're going to come to me in 5 minutes because common sense is going to kick in and you're going to let me walk out of here. I waited another 5 hours and they come back to me with bail conditions. I refused them bail conditions and then they left me another 4 to 5 hours and come back and gave me another set of bail conditions. And I was thinking, hold on a minute, what's going on? And then they went, right, you're being charged. People said I was being charged for Section 14. Section 14 isn't on my charge sheet. Section 11 and Section 12 of the Public Order Act 1986 is on my charge sheet. And again, it's a punishable offence. You can get a hefty fine and imprisonment. I'm hoping that before it gets to court, I'll get an FA, because I do believe, like you said, what is their message? I think that they was trying to send out a message to everyone. If we can nick her and be this brutal to her and she ain't done nothing wrong, you wait and see what happens to you. Yeah. And and I think they thought that I would then start bursting down in tears. And like I said, they probably picked the wrong person to arrest. I'm tough, I'm resilient, and no matter what, even that beating that they give me, I'm saying was worth it, because it shone a light on Epping and it shone a light on what's going on in this country, and it made the likes of Elon Musk tweet what was going on for the world to see. Now, if you've got the richest man in the world tweeting about you, you know you've made an impact. So they can arrest me, they can give me a beating, they can send me to prison if they want. I am not going to stop until everybody wakes up and sees what's really going on here. And you know what? I know that I'm on the right side of history, and I just hope that everybody else sees me and goes, you know what? I want to do that. If it hasn't deterred her, let's all join in as well.
Sarah, amazing words, very inspiring. And yeah, I mean, Sue, thank you, Sue. She's hit the nail on the head. Thank you, Sarah, from one patriotic mum to another. Much love to you and our beautiful country. You know, this is the support for you that has come in, certainly through my emails and messages, etc., has been quite remarkable. Someone, see if I can find that comment that I saw earlier on. Someone mentioned Joan of Arc. I don't know if you've seen that, but yeah, you could. I don't know if you ride, Sarah. You'll have to ride into the next demo on a horse, a white horse.
Let's do, yeah. We'll watch this space.
So you're a member of Reform, Sarah. What are you, a council candidate, a parliamentary candidate?
I'm a potential local council candidate. My area, if I was to get in, would be Chigwell and Buckhurst Hill, which people keep saying, you know, go back to where you live. You're not from Epping. Firstly, if anyone lives in Epping, they would know that Chigwell, it comes under the borough of Epping Forest, and I pay my council tax to Epping Forest. So, and again, if it wasn't in Epping and there wasn't protests in Epping, I would travel this country far and wide to protect women and children. And that 100%. Is ultimately it. We had yesterday, we was lucky enough to have Craig Houston and Kev Ranter. They travelled down from Falkirk in Scotland. It took them 7 hours. They'd done a protest where they was in the morning, and they drove all the way to our protest in Epping to hand over their flag that they use at their protests, to show the solidarity. That's what type of people we are at these protests. We are willing to travel. Nothing is going to stop us. And it just shows, right, okay, it was Epping, but this could have been anywhere. It just so happened it was Epping. It just so happened I got arrested. It just so happened that all of us come together. But it has spurred everybody else in this country to make this movement as big as it can be. And I just believe week after week, it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And surely at some point, the government's got to go, well, hold on a minute. We can't have the police out all the time. The resources are getting used up. We need to do something to at least stop the protests. Stop the men from leaving these hotels. You'll deter a lot of the protests, because if they can't mingle within our society, in our like local communities, people will feel safer.
I've given up trying to second guess this lot, Sarah, to be honest with you, but I'm actually not surprised it started where it started, and I'll tell you for why. And anyone watching this who's not a Londoner or is from overseas, I'm a South Londoner. Sarah's accent is noticeably different from mine. She's an East London, Essex girl, right? So if anyone's wondering about the difference in London accents, South London, East London.
Yeah.
There's a difference, Sarah, right?
There is a difference. And, you know, like, I won't go into who's on the right side and the wrong side of the water, but...
Look, but I know...
And this is the thing. A lot of people from Epping and surrounding areas have originally come from the East End. And we've got a powering, like this force inside us that no one can knock us down. And this is, I was interviewed by a YouTuber yesterday, and he was like, this girl ain't got backing down. You can arrest her, you can beat her, you can do anything. She ain't backing down. Like, he went, and I've met you a couple of times now. He went, and I get it. You're going to have it. You're up for it. You want to protect everyone. And I said, that's it. My goal is to protect people. These undocumented men have no place in our community. And we all have to come together. And when you've got the like A-listers, or I'd say they're more like Z-listers, calling out and saying that everyone's welcome in our country, all right, I tell you what, come and live amongst us.
Yeah.
See if you like it. See if you like your daughter or your sister or your mum getting sexually assaulted in the street. No, you don't, because you're all right living in your ivory towers. Come and be on ground level and see what it's really like. Yeah, and then let me know how you feel.
Yeah, they make me sick, to be honest with you. Just going back to reform for a moment, has the leadership been in contact with you at all? Has anyone been in contact with you from reform?
No.
Nobody?
No. And I was at the conference at the weekend. Maybe they're really busy. But no, they haven't. And we'll see what happens, see where it goes. But at the end of the day, like I said, I'm doing this because of the passion inside me. I'm not doing it because I'm a reform candidate. Whether I stay a reform candidate or not is another thing. They haven't been in touch. Maybe they want to distance themselves from me. Maybe, like I said, maybe they're just busy. We'll see where it goes.
Well, it's my opinion, Sarah, they'll be in touch, but it won't be to offer you any help. And I won't say any more than that. That's my opinion. You know where I stand on that sort of thing. But I'll leave that one alone for the moment. So what's next for you, Sarah? Because look, I'm going to be honest with you, right? I mean, this stuff has been on my mind for years. I only came out about 18 months ago. I had to find not only the bravery, but I had to be willing to give up my income. Because when you come out and you do what you do, people say, oh, you're a grifter, you're earning money from YouTube, blah, blah, blah. But I've said it 1,000 times before, talking out costs you money. You know, people that before would employ you will no longer do that. People that would sponsor you will pull the reins in. So it costs you money. So I've only been doing this for about 18 months, but I've had my eye on this for years. And I've often thought that actually it's the women that can change this country, because it's very easy to label someone like me, wrong accent, tattoos, you know, middle-aged older guy, white guy, you know, it's easy to label people like us as far right and fascist and racist and all this bloody nonsense. But when the girls come along, the mums wearing pink, standing up, standing firm, standing strong, to me, that is such a powerful message. And I don't know if you realise this, Sarah, but you are a genuine hero, I really mean that. And I want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart and from from the bottom of the heart of the nation, because we need women like you. We need people to step forward.
We do need people to step forward. And you're right, Paul. It is when the women come out and when the women come forward, that's when you know there's a real problem. And that's when you know a change is going to happen, because it is the women. It's the women that raise tomorrow. It's the women that carry the weight on their shoulders of, you know, of everyone, their husbands, their children and everything. So, yeah, I think that once the women come out, you know that there is a real problem at hand. Definitely.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I hope I'm just an ordinary girl. I'm originally from the East End, like we said. I do find that people from the East End do have a passion within inside them, and they don't give up. But I just hope, and I know I really like it. You said I'm a hero, but to me, I'm just a normal girl and I'm a normal woman. And I just hope that if I can inspire people to come out and be brave and show you don't need to be, you ain't got to go out fighting. It's peaceful. But as long as we're all as long as we're all together, show that solidarity, we can make a change. And that's all I want. I just want people to feel inspired by that.
And our kids to be safe.
That's all, for our kids to be safe. I want my kids to grow up and feel safe. And like I said I was talking to Liam Tufts, come down to Epping the other day. And I said to him live, I said, at the end of the day, I said, my son said to me the other night, I feel that you love what you're doing more than you love me because you're not around as much. And I said, it's because I love you why I'm doing this. And at the end of the day, I do not want my grandchildren looking back and saying, why did you help? Why didn't you go out and help protect us? Where was you? Because one day that's going to happen if we don't make a change now. And for anyone out there listening, do not let that happen. Do not let your children look at you in the future and say, where was you? Because our grandparents, we can all look back at them and go, they've done what they've done for us to live in a land that should be a free land. And everyone, we was a country to be admired, and people come here because of the prospects. Now they're coming to freeload and do what they want. And our rich are leaving our country because our government are taxing them out of the country.
Sarah, I don't know if you knew this, but the stats at the moment tell us that a millionaire leaves the UK every 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So who's going to replace that money? Who's going to pay all these people when all the millionaires are gone?
Yeah, because it's down to us and we can't afford it.
Exactly. And my message to your kids will be, your mummy's doing this so that you don't have to do it in the future. And that's what loving parents do. And by then it'll be too late. That's my concern. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So going down the road a little bit, Sarah, where do you see this? First of all, how do you see this panning out in Epping? What do you think the future holds for the Bell Hotel, for you guys in Epping, the movement in Epping? I know it's tough to predict, but with the feeling that, you know, you're on the ground down there, where do you think this is going now?
Well, I'm hopeful, and I'm really hopeful that this hotel gets closed down. Like I said, then we have another concern, which is, do they then get dispersed within the community? I think, honestly, I'm hoping that it gets shut down and they get moved. But again, I don't want them being moved anywhere. And it sounds very selfish. I just hope that, I really don't know. We're all so worried there. That is our concern, because like I'm saying, well, let's hope they get moved. But where are they moving them to? You know, and when you've got the Home Office, was it Yvette Cooper said the other week that, you know, we're hoping that the hotels are all going to be shut by 2029. Yeah, you can talk about the hotels are all going to be shut. Where are all the men going?
Where are they going to be? Where
are you putting them? It's all well and good going, they're all going to be shut. You're not talking about what's at hand. Like, what the real issue is. It ain't the hotels, it's the people in them. Yeah. We don't want them dispersed within our country. You've got to get them at our shores. All of the police and the funds and the waste of money that they spend at Epping, not just Epping, up and down the country. Why isn't that money being put into having police forces at our shores, detaining them, taking them to a detention centre, processing them, and taking them back to where they come from?
Yeah.
It's not difficult. It's not rocket science. Not being funny, my son could do a better job than Keir Starmer. He's an absolute buffoon, the man.
Yeah.
Like, how on earth he's in the position he's in, he ain't got a clue. He couldn't run a piss up in a brewery.
Well, Sarah, to be honest with you, I'm wondering what they're up to, because look, I mean, surely any politician, their job is to try and win votes and try and stay in power, but they've done everything within their power to piss just about everyone off. Even their so-called friends have had enough of them. But here's the thing: I said this earlier. You know, we talk about stopping the bloody boats. Tell you what, Sarah, we ain't even got to stop the boats from coming, because 90% of them don't even make it across the channel. They're picked up by our boats halfway across the water. So how about, as a starting point, how about we stop our boats going to meet their boats? That would be a start, wouldn't it?
Our boats go out to the 12-mile mark, and they take them from the French authorities. The French authorities give them all life jackets. And then what do? Get them on our boats. We take the life jackets and give them back to the French to use for the next lot. Like you said, stop the boats going out and picking them up. Stop giving France any sort of funding, because they're incapable of doing their job as well. Like, you know, let's go back to basics. It's not difficult. We stopped the Germans coming across to our shores. They didn't have rubber dinghies.
Yeah.
Like, it's not difficult. And I just can't see. Obviously, I believe they want to flood our country with these men. Otherwise, you could stop it.
That's the worrying thing, Sarah, isn't it? You know, I've asked this question before. What is going on? What is the end game? You know, I was watching a video earlier on. I can't remember the guy's channel. Sorry, apologies for not being able to remember his channel. But he was a former member of the armed forces, asking the question: would the British Army ever turn their own guns on the British people? And his opinion was no. And I believe that to be true. They would never. I don't believe the armed forces would ever turn on their own people. But there's a lot of people coming into this country that probably would. So what is their end game with this? Why is this, you know, predominantly 80, 90, 95? I don't know the figures, but I don't think I've ever. I mean, I've been to a couple of migrant hotels. I've never seen a woman.
No.
And, you know, like a lot of men, you know, I'm big on the protection of women, big on the protection of children. I'd find it very difficult to hate a woman or a child, or to turn them away from help, because that's just who I am. But the men, let them sort themselves out in their own. If they're so worried about their own land, why are they not there fighting for it? Because they need to be fighting for it. The places they're coming from, they need soldiers.
Yeah.
What are they doing here?
Paul, you and I both know, if the war was in the UK, say you're here, you're not going to go and leave women and children, go, see you later, guys, we're off. All the men don't leave here. The women are protected, children are protected. But these people aren't coming from war-torn countries. They're coming from France. They've got to many points of safety on their way. France is not at war. Why are they coming across to the UK? You only can blame the government, because they're giving them funding. But what they're doing, by giving them funding, they're taking away from funding for our own people. I spoken to a guy the other night, and he stopped me. And you know what? It's such a shame. He basically, I'll go into their story a little bit. And it's a young girl called Lola. She was eating dinner with her family, and she happened to choke. And unfortunately, because of her choking, she has now got irreparable brain damage. She is now, funding is being taken away from her. So why is funding being given to these men? Why are they being given phones as they land on our shores? Why are they being put in 4-star hotels and 3 square meals a day? I'm pretty sure that Lola and her family would like to have their food bills for them. I'm pretty sure that Lola's mum and dad would like a brand new phone given to them. I'm sure that Lola's sibling would like to be sent on multiple after school courses and things like that. Where is the funding for our own people when it's being given to these men who are here illegally? That's one of the problems. And these Z-listers and A-listers need to look at, they're promoting and wanting to stand up for illegal migrants being in our country. Why aren't they standing up for the likes of Lola and her family?
Yeah.
You know, who actually need funds? You know, I was speaking to her dad earlier and he said, my daughter needs, they found out she can communicate through a computer, which is eye recognition. That costs £11,500. How is her mum and dad going to afford £11,500? And trying to set up a GoFundMe page, there's that many GoFundMe pages out there, it gets lost.
Yeah.
Why aren't these celebrities doing anything to help the people in our own country when they're so concerned about men that have come here, come out of their countries, a lot of them, because they've committed crimes?
Sarah, I couldn't agree more. Do you know what? I have so little respect for these people. You wouldn't believe it. You know, of all the things that they could be doing and could be saying and could be helping with, and they choose to rattle on about that, I think they should be utterly ashamed of themselves. Yeah. I mean that. And I've said this, I've been saying this for years, you know, but the bottom line is, look, they're pulling the ladder up, aren't they, right? So I'm all right, Jack, and sod the rest. They're protecting their money. I called out Ellie Goulding yesterday for saying that she was ashamed of the people waving flags, etc. Well, it's all right for her to say that. What is she? Why? You know, where was she with the rape gangs? Where is she about the, you know, the kids that have been assaulted? Where is she about people like you just mentioned, this Lola girl? Where are they?
Yeah,
they don't say anything. They're nowhere to be seen.
They pick and choose all the way along, and you know what? I'm disgusted with them. Utterly ashamed of them, and everyone in this country should be ashamed of the likes of Ellie Goulding. Yeah.
They do what they feel is right for their image, but what they don't understand, Sarah, is that times are changing. People are now recognising this, and they'll be remembered. History will remember them well.
Yes.
And you know, it is what it is. Look, please pass the pepper. Thank you. Protect our women and children. Love from the United States. We females are watching. I stand with you all. Enough is enough. Free Tommy. Free Britain. Mums unite. Thank you so much. And I know for an absolute fact, Sarah, that we have one or two very important viewers watching this tonight. So I'm really, really pleased that you've done an absolutely brilliant job of representing yourself and, you know, the girls and the country. Bob Hunter, thank you. Love from Scotland, Sarah. You are not alone, my sweetheart. This is a billionaire's invasion to destroy our culture, our family, our country, and our values. Joanne says modern day suffragette. How are you dealing with the newly found fame, Sarah?
Do you know what? I think what the police failed to forget was didn't take into account when they arrested me, like I said earlier, I was probably the worst person they could have arrested because I took it in my stride and it's only made our cause bigger. So I'm like welcoming everything because every platform I get on, I get the chance to speak about what's happened. I get the chance to promote Epping and I get the chance to talk about the real issues in our country. And so I'm embracing every single moment of this.
Yeah, well done.
It's not for fame because I'm not famous. I'm sure I'll be forgotten about at some point. But at the moment, I'm taking it and I'm taking this as far as I can until I hope I can make good in this country. And
Sarah, I'm gonna disagree with you on one thing. I don't think you'll be forgotten. I think history will remember you well. I think history will remember. I think there's a lot of people that involved in this movement right now. I think there's a number of people that's going to be remembered very well by history. We may not be alive to see it, but they'll be remembered. And I think the job that you're doing is just remarkable. And, you know, as I said, you know, you're right to embrace it. And I think look, here's the deal, right? I think British men are pretty hard to wind up, right? Unless it's a game of football, they're generally a laid-back bunch, right? But if you start messing with their women and their kids, things change.
It sparks something inside them, and men are very protective of us.
Yeah.
You know, it does take a little bit sometimes, but when they see women and children are affected, that's it. There's a rage inside the men in our country.
And I don't think this government and the authorities, and I'll say the police as well, because the police are very deeply embedded in this issue in many respects. I don't think they're being very clever about it, are they? Because every time they get an opportunity to lower the temperature, they turn the gas up.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know what their end game is. I don't know what they're trying to achieve. But what I do know they're achieving is that they are, well, we're on gas mark 10 right now, aren't we?
They're inciting a civil unrest, as far as I'm concerned. I believe that they want it to turn into a civil war. You know, I'd hope it doesn't get to that. But if that's what they want, then you know what? The British are pretty strong and pretty resilient people as a rule. And I think they'd do well to remember that.
I think I think it was Rommel, the German general, said that German soldiers are great soldiers because they enjoy being soldiers. The British are the best soldiers when they have to be soldiers.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very apt saying. Debbie, thank you so much. What a great podcast with a wonderful young woman. Talking about young women, what were they on? I saw that the Sun said that you were 50. Now, I had you, Sarah.
I look amazing for 50.
Sarah, I've got to be honest with you, right? I had you down closer to 30 than 50, right? What the hell? Was that a genuine mistake, or were they just being horrible?
No, you know what? It was a genuine mistake, I believe. I think they was talking to my friend at the time, Lola, and she was saying what her age was. And maybe it was a mix-up. Who knows? Maybe they was having a little bit of a dig. But yeah, I am 40. They also said that I was had 5 children. I don't know where the other 2 have gone off to, but yeah, no, Sarah, 40 with 3 kids.
I've got to be honest with you. I thought it was funny because I thought your friend, you know, maybe she was just maybe she's an ex-friend and she was just trying to wind you up.
Maybe.
That's the sort of thing that friends do, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Bob, totally love your accent, Sarah. Well done, Essex girl. Love from Scotland. United we stand, divided we fall. Labour are communist. The lovely Nina Vanava. Thank you, Nina. Sarah, you're a lovely, brave young lady. God bless you and your family. Stand with you all the way. Loads of support coming in for you, Sarah. Loads and loads and loads. Steve S. Scottish girl was wake up call, lads. Yep, you saw the young girl up in Scotland there, didn't you?
Yeah.
But amazing how the media portrayed her as a violent thug and a degenerate and all the rest of the bits and pieces. They are the enemy, aren't they? Now, I mean,
they are. You know, they're all in cahoots. You've got the media, the police, the judges and the people in Parliament. They're all in each other's pockets and they're all against us. Yeah. But we outnumber them. And that's what everyone in this country needs to remember. We outnumber all of the establishment. And standing together, we can make a difference and we can make a change and we can put an end to all of this.
Well, that's the key, though, Sarah. We got to wake people up, and you know we're only stronger than them. We only outnumber them if people come together. I want to ask you something about the opposition that's been the vile opposition that's been finding their way down to Essex. I describe them as being only one gene away from the loony bin. Most of them, you know, I mean, they're vile individuals, full of hate, full of horrible accusations. I prefer not to be around people like that because I probably have a job keeping me temper in check. But, you know, what has their behaviour been like down there in Epping?
Well, to be honest, they come for the first protest and that's when it got quite heated and there was scenes of violence and then they turned up for another protest. But on the second protest, the police led them such a long way round. It's obviously deterred them from coming back again. And they didn't get the response that they wanted from us on that particular protest, because we was all penned into a field and Harris fencing put between us and a police line. And then we was like, hold on a minute, leave them on the field. We're all going back up onto the road. So they're all chanting, but they're chanting into thin air. And it just showed them, you know what, you can't beat us. We're here for the right reasons. And it just showed that they are paid opposition, because they turned up, they'd done their 45 minutes and off they popped. And they left a trail of destruction, all mess everywhere, that we then went and cleared up for them so kindly the next day. And you just go, these people haven't got the brains they were born with. They turn up with a Palestinian flag and a transgender flag. What on earth has a transgender flag got to do with stopping a young woman and children getting sexually assaulted in the community? It just doesn't make sense. And you put transgender and Palestine together, I don't think they're going to do very well.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's see how the scumbags of a mass feel about their transgenderism, eh? See how they get on well with that one. It won't end well for them, will it?
No, not at all.
Sarah, there are thousands of messages pouring in. I don't know if you can see any of the messages, but yes, Dame Sarah White.
Thanks, John. While everyone's on, can I just do one thing? I mentioned about Lola earlier.
Yeah.
And her story touched me so much that their family is trying to raise the money for the equipment that Lola so desperately needs. It will allow her to have some communication with her family. And if everyone goes onto Instagram and it's Lola's_fund, and on there they can follow the link. And if they are able to, it would be great to see this cause funded, and hopefully it can make a difference to their life.
Sarah, would you put the family in touch with me directly? You got my number. Put the family in touch with me. We'll do something, and we'll raise that money one way or another. We'll raise the money.
Perfect. Thank you.
So put them in touch with us, and we'll see what we can do. Did I do this one? No, I didn't. Let's stop the traitors in Parliament, from Blair to Brown to Cameron to May to Sunak to Johnson to Starmer. Traitors, traitors, traitors. Absolutely. I think, do you know what, Sarah? Every cloud has a silver lining, and I think the days of Labour and the Tories and the Uni Party, I think it's over. We've now got 4 years to get our message through to the rest of the nation that we, the people, must take back the power. We have the power, like you just said a minute ago. We need to take it. The one problem that we have got, we have to pick who we're going to give that power to. And I know I want to give it to. You might be different, but at the end of the day, we've got to be on the right side of history.
Definitely.
Please pass the pepper. Americans are watching. Justice for Lola. I am disgusted, Sarah. Well done. Paul, stand tall. America is so proud of you, warriors. Free speech, end the invasion. God bless UK freedom fighters. Thank you so much once again. Sarah, before we sort of bring the show to an end tonight, where's the country going? Where is all this going to end?
Well, I hope it ends in the state that I want to leave it for future generations, and I hope it's a safe and secure environment for all of our future generations to live in. And this is the land of, freedom, and that's what I want.
It used to be.
That's what's driving me, and I want Britain to be great again, because it's not great right now. And I think people need to take off their rose-tinted glasses and just take a step back and go, actually, if you look at how Iran was in the 1970s, it was just like London. Women wore miniskirts and had big bouncy blow dries, and men and women went to university together. The burqa, wasn't a thing that was seen predominantly on the streets. And you only have to look at that. Look what happened when the left and the terrorists got in. We are going the same way.
Absolutely.
And unless people look, do your research, look at what happened there. Why shouldn't that happen here? Because it is the way it's going. The left and the terrorists The left are bringing the terrorists into our country. It's in at plain sight. It's under our noses.
They're not even hiding it, are they?
It's not. That's what worries me.
I always say, if you want to learn about the future, look at the past.
Yeah,
and you're absolutely right, Sarah. One or two more supers to go, and then we've got a little outro. Mouse Charger, thank you. Hey, rise and fight, march like Sarah White. She speaks loud, she stands tall. Justice rising with her call. Brilliant, nice one, mate. Bob Hunter, Labour, Tories, Liberal, woke, dead men walking. Cheryl Gibbons from America, our hearts are with the United Kingdom. Sarah, so much support from our friends in America. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean, if you think when I was being arrested, one of the things I chanted as I was being loaded into the meat wagon was Elon, help me out. Starmer's fucking sold me out. And I know that somebody was filming that and got to Elon Musk and he said, how can I help? So when you've got Elon Musk tweeting you and then reposting you,
you've done something right.
Definitely.
Yeah, you've done something right. ASMR Muzz, last super chat of the evening. Thank you, Lefty here. I'm an expat Scot in Nova Scotia, Canada, watching to see sanity return to the UK. Far right, my arse. Bring sanity back to the left.
Yeah, and it's not far right, it's right.
Absolutely.
You know, I've been added onto a far right watch list, all because I go to protests and I've been outspoken.
Oh, Sarah, we're all on that. We're all on that. Join the club, girl.
I would be gutted if I weren't on it, to be honest.
Oh, join the club, girl. Sarah, last night I ended the show with a song that I said reminded me of what London was really all about for me, and I'm sure for you growing up too when you was younger. This little video shows a bit of integration the way it should be, shows the true heart and spirit and the soul of Londoners. And I think we'll end the show with that tonight. I want to thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
I want to thank you again so much for your bravery. I think you're absolutely amazing. It's just, look, you said earlier on you're not a hero, but how many Sarah Whites are there in the UK right now? Not many, right? So no. you keep going, girl. The country is proud of you, and God bless you. And if you need any help, anything, just get in touch.
Really
all the best, Sarah.
Thanks to all your viewers.
I'll see you soon. Let's play out with the special outro.
I don't believe it. We can't possibly leave this lovely part of London unless I sing for you, twiddle for me, love, in the key that I'm going to do it in. Because I must sing it to you. And we'll all sing it because we're proud of it. You see, London isn't everybody's cup of tea. Often our visitors complain. It's a noisy, smoky city. But it seems to me that there's a magic in the fog and rain. And maybe it's because I'm a Londoner that I love London so. And maybe it's because I'm a Londoner that I think of her wherever I go. Hey, I get some funny feeling inside of me when I'm walking up and down. Maybe it's because I'm a Londoner that I love London town. Everybody sing it! And maybe it's because I'm a Londoner that I love London so. Hey there! Maybe it's because I'm a London. I think of her that wherever I go. I get some funny feeling inside of me. I get some funny feeling inside of me. Just walking up and down. Walking up and down. Everybody! Maybe it's because I'm a Londoner that I love London. London.